everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with me today. I hope this video finds you all well. My name is JoJo. This channel focuses on our family's journey to financial freedom and taking you guys along with us on the way. So what we're doing today is the week 2 check-in for paycheck number 1. We're going to be closing this paycheck out today. And I'll go ahead and just get you guys switched over to my variable expenses, weekly check-in sheet, and my transaction log, and we'll start working our way through the week. All right, so here we are with my variable expenses tracker over here. My husband and I get paid every other week, and this is just how I track our weekly expenses from our variable expense categories before adding the 2 weeks together and putting it into my paycheck budget sheet that you guys saw at the beginning of the video. And then this over here is my transaction log. All transactions are tracked here. This was last week's check-in. I had miscalculated these totals, which I love having this remaining section too, because of it allows me to double check myself. And this was adding up, but my total right here was not adding up. So I did update that. I'll link the week 1 check-in in an information card if you guys want to see how these numbers came about. But for this week, we are still working through paycheck number 1, and we're looking at expenses from December 10th to the 16th, and this is for week 2. I always like to start with an example on how I come to my numbers. I'd come over here, find the last transaction for groceries, and I see that we are negative $31.98 in this remaining column right here. I know that I budget $400 to last us 2 weeks for groceries. So if I'm over by $31.98, we spent in the last 2 weeks $431.98. And that's what's going to be pulled into my paycheck budget sheet for our total spending for 2 weeks, which you guys will see later. But if I want to find out how much I spent during week 2, I will subtract the $199.61, and that tells me how much I spent this week on groceries. So we'll just come right that over here, the 230 to 37, and we were over budget by $31.98. I've gone ahead and pre-calculated the rest of these just for the sake of saving time, but let's see, so eating out, we did not spend anything. Just with Christmas and stuff, I feel like and then coming out of Thanksgiving, we have just had so much food put in front of our faces that there really hasn't been the urge to go eat out or seek food elsewhere outside of our home, sort of thing. Households, but just total this week was $15.50. We still have $71.98 remaining from the $125 I budget for that. For gas, this one, we had spent $78.84. We were over budget by $7.87. And then my husband, he had spent $33.48 from the $80 that we budget for ourselves as spending. And overall, he is under budget by $6.79. I had spent $5. There was a potluck at my job, but I do like to, whatever money's left over, I put into a sinking fund. What I had remaining was $52.79. So that's what's going into the sinking fund. But when I go to add up these totals, it's this $57.79. So the $52.79 plus the 5 added together. But that's leaving me ultimately with a 0 amount left in my category. I hope that makes sense. Next, our kids, they did not spend anything this week. We finally had nothing from unbudgeted, and that means, so the kids, my oldest had $8.80 remaining from the $20 we budget for each kid, my daughter had $6.25, my youngest had $9.25, and then unbudgeted, we were still left with that $83.62 that we'd had last week. So again, check out that video if you want to see where those unbudgeted expenses came from. But I was keeping in mind moving into this week, knowing that I needed to make up for that difference somewhere in our other variable expenses. So we didn't go out to eat. We didn't buy a lot of household or pet items. So we were able to make up that difference. And we actually came in overall under budget, which was amazing. So we were under budget by $50.63, you guys, even after having that over the unbudgeted expense. We spent a total of $417.98 this week. So that is going to take care of the variable expenses. Now what I'll do is move over to the paycheck budget sheet and we'll finish reconciling the rest of these transactions. Here we are back at the paycheck budget sheet. All of these sheets are available on my Etsy shop. It's linked below if you guys feel that this system would be helpful for you and your budget. So I just start here at the top with income, this income table. We did have, those are these green boxes right here. So you can see income number 3 right here. It had come in as expected, and we actually ended up with a bonus from this income as well. So I'm going to put that under extra. And we'll just write the expected $9.15 that had come in, and then there was extra $9.15. Now, since we are closing out this budget, I can go ahead and total up my actual columns. So we'll say the $3,034.45 from paycheck 1 plus 896 plus 915 plus 915. Let me just make sure I got these in right. Okay. So I'm going to write this in blue. It was more than expected, but that's in a good way for our budget, so I'll leave it in blue. And we had $5,665.41, which is awesome. This was an unexpected surprise. Okay, that takes care of income. We'll go ahead and check off those green boxes. Next, we have our pink boxes. We're going to start working our way through. We'll start here with Disney Plus. That came in as expected at $6.99. Our electricity and gas, it had come in under budget at $151.99. And I have a utility bill tracker that I'm compiling, and I document our electricity, gas, sewer, water on there for each month. And then I'll be using that next year when I go to write down my expected amounts, and it's just going to give me a better prediction, because pretty much every month I just estimate $200 for electricity and gas, but it varies month to month based on the seasons, because we live in a state where there's all seasons. Let's see, so next was daycare. That came out as expected. Start checking some of these off. Next, our cell phone. So this, we had bought my daughter a Gizmo watch, so there was an activation fee that we had to pay and some taxes. And I really had no idea what that was going to be. And it came in, so this month it was quite a bit more because of that. But moving forward, it's probably going to be closer to this amount, because of our cell phone bill before we added the watch was actually consistently less than this. And the actual service on the cell phone or the Gizmo watch, it's not that expensive moving forward. So I think it might end up being closer to this. But as I figure out the more usual amount, I'll update if it's a lot different on my expected amount for the cell phone bill. But for this month, it was crazy high. The home equity line of credit, I did not end up having to pay anything on that. I'd already, let me see, actually, you know what? There was interest, so I'm gonna just write the interest that I had paid on that. So for those of you who have been following me, we're doing a velocity banking strategy using our HELOC to pay down my last interest accruing debt, which is my student loan. I did my velocity banking monthly check-in video last week, so you're already familiar with that strategy and me going over how much money I had spent on interest. So this was that accounts tracker where I'm keeping track of the interest. So it was $1.47 that I had paid on interest. So that is actually what I'm going to write here. I actually did not write that. I did not write that on here. But this was extra money I put towards the HELOC, so I'll come to that later. Okay, so next we had savings 2. So I put my usual $300 into savings 2, and usually every time we get the $915, I put money $300 into savings 2. So since we had ended up with an extra $915 as a bonus, I'm going to put a bonus $300 into savings number 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that here, and we'll just say savings 2. There was nothing expected. This is just all extra. And then I like to pay any extra money that we make. I'm now wanting to just automatically throw that towards our debt focus, which is our HELOC. So that money, it's gone, it's allocated in my mind, it already has a job, it's not just lingering, waiting for me to do something irresponsible with it. So we'll just say HELOC extra, and we're gonna put an extra $615 towards the HELOC. I'm just gonna check these off now. And move that to the side. When you add all these together, that totals, so this is going to be in red, but honestly, I'm not mad at it. This was really our only over budget, but we put an extra $915 into savings and in towards debt. So this is awesome. But it's still going to be written in red because technically, yes, we were over budget in the negative in this one. So $2,564.01 is what those all total. Now we'll come over here to our variable expenses, get those plugged in. For groceries, we were over budget. We spent $431.98. And so these are all those expected numbers. When I talked to you guys about that I budget $400 for groceries at the example of how I calculate my numbers from the remaining, these are the numbers I pull from. For eating out, we were very much so under budget. We had only spent $28.97. Household and pets, we had only spent $53.02. Gas, we were over budget. We had spent $157.87. My husband, he was under budget. He had spent $73.21. And then for me, I'm just going to be dead on $80 because of that money's moving to a sinking fund. My oldest, he had spent $11.20. My daughter was $13.75. My youngest was $10.75. And then we did have that unbudgeted of $83.62. But overall, we can still write it in this blue because this totals $944.37. So we were still under budget from the $995 overall budgeted for these variable expense categories. Okay, that takes care of variable expenses. Now we'll move down here to sinking funds. Those are all of my blue boxes. And I just calculate these ahead of time, so they've already been checked off as I was pre-calculating them for this video. But as you would expect, most of this, our sinking fund purchases have been coming from Christmas. A lot of my actual gift shopping is done. It's more so been, I budget for goodies, so I've been doing a lot of baking, Christmas cards, getting those together. And then also like Secret Santa gifts, goodie bags for my daughter's class, because my oldest, he's a freshman, so you know, high schoolers aren't really into that. And they're full distance learning right now anyways. But just tying up those little loose ends that kind of trickle through that, that does come from our Christmas budget. So for Christmas from from sinking funds, it totals, we spent $392.56. And I did last week, I closed out, I think it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I'll link it in an information card if you guys want to see my November sinking fund closeout. And then I just revamped my sinking funds moving into 2021. I am so excited for this. But I'll link that video as well. I'll put it up here too. If you guys want to check that out about all of our new categories and our plan to set us up for success, allow us to remain on a debt-free journey during 2021. Then there was also some clothes. Again, I have 3 kids. They're at the ages where they just all grow, and we moved into a new season, so I'm just trying to keep up with keeping them warm and clothed. Gifts, Dollar Tree, I bought some little paper plates for my son's birthday coming up, and then a bow and some wrapping paper from there as well. So those 3 items from the dollar store were $3. All right, now before we move on to figuring out what's going to be rolled over into paycheck number 2, because that's how we zero out our budget. Everything from paycheck 1 gets rolled over into paycheck 2, and then paycheck 2 gets zeroed out, and that money gets thrown at our debt focus. But we do have some updates down here on this debt table. As bills are paid from each paycheck, if they're assigned to that to be paid during that paycheck, and as that bill clears, I come down here and update. So we have 3 cell phones and a gizmo watch now that are included in this $599.94. 2 of the cell phones are due to be paid off in February, so this minimum amount is going to be updated. There's 0% interest, so honestly, I'm not actively focusing on paying them off. I do have some money built into a sinking fund for next year to save for cell phones. It's just broadly called an electronic sinking fund, but that will include cell phone devices. So moving forward, I don't plan on financing a cell phone. But for now, while we're paying these off, I'm just going to make my monthly payment, and that's tied into my cell phone bill. So you'll see my cell phone bill after February or in March next year is going to decrease after those 2 cell phones are paid. So that had cleared, but I can come over here now and update this $599.94 minus the 104.16. So now we can update this balance with $495.78. And then our home equity line of credit, we put that extra $615 towards it. So I'll show this 12,624.35 minus 615. Oh, this is so cool. It's coming down nicely. It's 12,000 $9.35. So now we'll see what we're ending the mid-month, what that's looking like as far as our debt totals go. So that's, oops, I'm telling you guys, me typing numbers into the calculator, I don't know what my fingers do. They have a mind of their own. Let's see, 671.58. Oops. Holy cow. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's double check after all of those shenanigans. Okay, so $495.78 and then $12,009.35. This is just crazy that I have just these three debts. Because we had started, oh my gosh, I think we paid off 4 or 5 debts now since beginning this journey. The end of December, it might move into the beginning of January. I'm going to do my quarterly debt and net worth assessment with you guys. And that's where I show all of what we started with to where we are now. And this journey began for us in February. And we had a little over $102,000 of debt. And so now, this number, we're almost 50%. We've almost paid off half of that debt, which is just so exciting. Okay, so $52,176.71. Okay, now let's figure out what we're rolling over to paycheck number 2. Okay, so we'll take this 56, 65, 41 minus the 20, I'm going to set this pen down, 25, 64.01, okay, minus 944.37. Okay, so, oh, that's so cool. Okay, so we are still able to roll over more than we had expected. We had made less money than we expected, paid extra towards savings and towards debt. We're over budget in our cell phone, but I think what really saved us was how, and we had unbudgeted, you guys, but we were able to like really wrench in our spending, mostly I think in eating out and household and pets, and salvage this rollover amount. That is really exciting to see. This is like a huge progress for us, because, and I think the biggest help, or what has made the most impact on allowing us to have these numbers and to make that progress is that transaction log and being consistent with tracking where every dollar is going, every dollar that's coming in, every dollar where it's going, and giving every dollar a job. Like, that was a new concept that comes from Dave Ramsey that I learned about since watching these budget videos, but it's true. So if you're struggling with that, because I certainly was, and this has been the most progress I've ever had, and most aware, self-aware as well, that I've been with my finances or my budget, and really stuck to a budget and been consistent. And I, have gained inspiration from this community, and I really appreciate your guys' support. That has been another huge thing too that has helped keep me accountable, keep me motivated. So thank you very much for that. But that is going to wrap up this video, you guys. Thank you so much for popping by. If you're not yet subscribed and you're enjoying the contents of the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I would love to hear how your December budget is going as well. And if you're on a financial freedom journey, I would love to be there to support and cheer you on too. So let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to show you my new planner moving into 2021.